we got first fight of the new KVK, and as always, as an archer main since the 1000 days, I will be more than glad to showcase the PvP open field gameplay of Call of Dragons, right? As always, we're gonna start speaking about my main marches, my 5 archer march, and let me introduce you them, right? Ruby and Freygar. Unfortunately, I still don't have Kylan, that's why we are using Freygar with Ruby. Falgrim and Nico, Magrat and Zaida, Indis and Tara with the Wyverns, with tier 4 Wyverns in order for us to get some buffs and some heals. And of course, one of my first ever awakened heroes, which is Kinara and Musyang, right? That's the debuffer hero pair, which I have been using for a long time with a pretty good success, and hopefully this KVK success will continue, right? Yeah, basically that's my team, that's my 5 March, which I will be playing in this KVK, and hopefully this 5 March is going to give us absolutely amazing amount of merits, which we are basically already used to it, right? Last KVK we had close to 25 million merits, and 99% of those merits we got from archers, right? And if we're gonna speak about like archers as a being hardest troop type in the game, actually that's pretty true, because playing as an archer is always really rough during the open field PvP, especially when this game is giving to melee players a lot of blinks, a lot of utility artifacts, of course, all the gameplay changes for archers, right? Because we have to think about our own survivability, and at the same time we have to deal damage, right? Whenever you are speaking about dealing damage as an archer, you have to always think about blinks, you will have to think about the lowest range you are having in the game, and of course it always affects the merits which you want to get in this game, right? But hopefully, after watching these PvP open field gameplays and in general the gameplays of mine with archers, hopefully I will change your mind in terms of archer gameplay, right? Because I truly believe if you understand some simple facts about the game, you will be able to get a lot of merits even with archers, while having mages as a more safer option than archers, right? Here you can see we are trying to be more offensive, that's the reality. Of course, whenever you have chance to deal damage to mages, you have to do that, right? And here I think we have free time dealing mages, and yeah, why not, right? Why not? Let's go full all in, and let's see how much damage we're gonna deal to these players. Of course, I'm a little bit too offensive here, because I can see how many infantry players I have around me, and of course, this amount of infantry players will help you to feel secured in order for you to continue to deal more and more damage, right? Yeah, I can see these cavalry players running around. That's, yeah, basically, yeah, let's try to survive this rush. I think we could. Yep. That's the help of your allies, which is always important, right? So basically, what's my main goals in this season? My biggest goal is to have more than 25 million merits, and it will be hard, especially for this kind of KVK, because this KVK is Calling of Courage, which is basically mystery skill, not a long range warfare, not a race of remedy, basically. So yeah, as always, merits will be tough to get, but we will try our best, right? My another goal is to awaken Ruby and to unlock Island, right? Because in my opinion, Ruby and Island together, they are the best hero pair in the game for the archer gameplay in terms of getting merits, right? And that's why, in my honest opinion, if you have Ruby and Island already, congratulations, you have already one of the best archer hero pairs in the game. That's why one of the biggest goals are, of course, to somehow unlock Kylan in order for me to make that hero pair. Thankfully, I have Roaring Rager, which is the newest artifact for the archer gameplay, especially for the Ruby, and of course, I will try my best to make my Gilded Crossbow even higher level, right? Because that was my goal for 2025. Unfortunately, we have only 3 levels, but meanwhile, I'm really glad that we unlocked Roaring Rager. So basically, these are our most important goals whenever we are speaking about my goals for this KVK. So remember my words, more than 25 million merits should be the target, and let's see if we are going to achieve that target, right? That's basically one of the most important things, because next update will be basically anniversary update, and of course we are going to get a lot of new things in the game, which will be a bit of distraction with your goals. So the sooner we are going to unlock the island, and sooner we're gonna awaken Ruby, more and more merits we are actually going to get in this game, right? So yeah, right now we are basically fighting against RP, who is our number 1 opponent in the zone 2. And as you can see, we are basically having a good results already against them, right? Because we are pushing them back. Their infantry players are not really that tanky, I will be honest. I was a little bit expecting more from those infantries, but I guess it's good for me, because I will be more than glad to deal damage most of the time to mages, right? Because of course we know that the highest amount of damage which we can deal is of course to mages, right? I believe this one Lilia is targeting me, so let's just try to remove her from the open field PvP. Yeah, that's basically it, right? Unfortunately, here we have most of the targets as infantry, but I can see some mage and archer groups there, and I believe soon we're gonna try and go there at the same time. Of course, I want to speak about newest Warped, which is Wind Whistle for the Ruby and Island hero pair, and if you had questions regarding Wind Whistle, like does it do a lot of damage, is it worth it to actually build this new Warped, my honest review will be yes. Wind Whistle does a lot of damage, especially if you have equipped Ruby and Island with them, right? So basically my advice would be to go for all in on the Wind Whistle, and hopefully you guys will have 3-star talent skills as fast as possible, because that's basically minimum nowadays to start building the Warpeds which you like to have. And yeah, okay, let's move back. So yeah, basically Wind Whistle, Shadow Manticore was number 1 choice because of the Magrot and Zaida, but itself Shadow Manticore is like basically not that impressive, not full damage, like average damage and average healing, but it was good enough for Magrot and Zaida, right? Trust me, Magrot and Zaida doesn't really need more OP Warped. But Wind Whistle is a different case. It has a unique ability, and also it has a super amazing synergy with the Ruby's extra normal attack damage abilities and skills which he has. That's the main idea of Ruby in general, to deal more extra normal attack damage to nearby enemies, right? That's how you are actually getting a lot of targets during the open field PvP, and actually that's how you can get a lot of merits when you are fighting against multiple targets. That's why Wind Whistle is a nice choice. You will be really happy when you're gonna discover the amount of merits you are going to get with a good Wind Whistle. So trust me, it will be a nice decision from your side to actually build that Warped, right? Here, what we can say, I believe our time which we spent towards our opponent's territory is basically enough, but I have no idea why my legions are not moving. Yeah, finally they are moving, right? Here, unfortunately, we don't have enough infantry players in order for us to continue our push. That's why we are moving back, and hopefully we will find a proper place and proper moment to get back and start fighting, right? And maybe it's right here. Yeah, that's the idea, right? That's the problem which archers and in general ranged players have in this game. Without infantry in open field PvP, I'm sorry, you won't gonna have fun. That's the way this game works, right? That's why it's a war game. That's why it's alliance versus alliance, that every single player will have the impact on the gameplay, and every single player's impact is really important, right? As you can see, without infantry, we can't really deal damage to anybody here. That's why we are moving back. I will be really happy if somehow I will be able to survive this small attack, because my Macro Tenzaida is actually full HP. That's the funny part. For my Magro Tenzaida and healing, which we are getting from that hero pair, that's absolutely amazing, right? Let's see if we can survive here. It's a pretty nice amount of infantry players who are running towards us, so yeah, that's the cavalry. One more. Let's see if we can actually survive this fight, because the amount of merits which we actually got from this fight should be a lot. Alright, maybe right now. Okay, let's help our allies. We should not be really running that much, but yeah, I guess that's the problem right now. Yep. That's the cavalry rushes which is happening here, and of course safety is the first, right? Safety is the most important. Unfortunately, we got caught by the artifacts which are stunning our legions. That's yep. Finally, I can stand still. I'm pretty sure I have enough artifacts on the usage, so we will be fine here, right? Yep, nice. At least we are dealing damage, which is good enough. And let's see. Yep. Let's just deal damage, and this should be good enough fight for us to get some merits. And yeah, basically that's the way this game works. Whoever has more infantry players are going to be more successful at the end of the day, right? But for the zone 2, I think that's good enough, right? Why we can't really catch this guy? Yeah, actually, that was a nice push. We got a lot of merits from these small fights, and of course, right now, until I'm gonna show you the reports, I will tell you about the alliances in my KVK, right? Which I forgot at the start of the game. I still don't know who is our allies. I know that IE, Ed, Infernum is our allies, and we are right now fighting against the Rising Phoenixes. That's the 3 alliances I know for sure. This is maybe 3 versus 3 KVK. But as you can see, the matchmaking was pretty even, right? Because the alliance power, which we can see, 12 billion power is the maximum, 10, 10, 9, 9, which is really good and really useful, right? It means that the fights which are going to happen in this KVK will be close, and we're gonna get a lot of great merits. Now, what's the most important? Of course, we have to share. That's the amount of merits we got from these fights, right? And let's see how much we got. 35k from the Falgrim and Nico, which is nice. 44k from the Ruby and Frygar. Trade is amazing, right? Margaret and Zaida, yes, 96k, and trade is like 10x. Yeah, this is really funny. 54k from Kinara and Musyang, and 11k, which is our support March, which we only have like 3k negative trade, is the Indie Centaur, right? What do you guys think about these reports? Share your opinion. I believe it's a pretty nice report for the first fight of the KVK, and hopefully our tradition will go on and we're gonna get a lot of more and more merits. This is the first merits for the KVK, and hopefully way more coming to the town. And as always, if you like Call of Dragons PvP open field gameplay videos, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.